Now that all 20 Premier Leagues have officially released their home kit for the upcoming 26-27 season, I thought it would be a good idea to rank them from 20th to 1st. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Starting off in 20th place, starting off in dead last, I've gone with the Bournemouth kit. I think it's pretty obvious why I've picked this kit. And before we go into ahead, we all know it's because of the sponsor. The sponsor is just crap on this kit, isn't it? Massive vitality dot in the middle, mate. You know, pink as well. Doesn't help. But I just want to say one quick thing before I talk about this kit. I really don't like downgrading football kits just because of sponsors. I think it's really kind of not crap, but I just think it's a weird thing to do because sometimes the sponsors can't, you know, it's their logo, they want to show it off. But sometimes, like this, for example, when it's so bad and there's something you can do to make it look better, it does kind of make the overall kit go down in rating. So I think that's what this kit has kind of done. Ignoring the sponsor though, the kit isn't brilliant either. It's not a terrible kit by any means, but it's just a bit too just boring. You know, there's a couple of nice little details in. The pattern in the base is taken from Bournemouth's first ever kit, which gives this quite nice looking pattern. Looks quite nice, you know, just subtle, but nothing too much. I'm not sure why Bournemouth had a lot of gold to their kits. They've done it a lot recently, but I guess it's just kind of a thing. But, you know, you can kind of see from this kit yourself. Massive sponsor, and that's kind of just takes away from the rest of the kit. The rest of the kit isn't anything special. Everyone's just going to be focused on that sponsor. 19th place up next, I've gone with the Newcastle home kit. This is another one where you can just tell why it's pretty bad. I remember when this kit was first leaked, I thought it wasn't actually that bad, and as you know, it got slowly closer to its initial release, I remember kind of thinking this, I kind of know why people don't really like this. You know, it looks like a barcode, doesn't it? You know, you can just see these weird kind of these, you know, thick stripes and then kind of grading out into smaller ones, which kind of make the white stripes as well, which I think is a cool idea. It's a cool concept, but the way it's been executed isn't brilliant. Now, similar to the Bournemouth when I was talking about the sponsors, you kind of had the same vibe here. You know, it just looks a bit weird with that massive black box around it, but it's not a terrible sponsor. It's not as bad as the Vitality one either. I do quite like the bits of blue. I think they did this last season as well, which looked quite nice. It just adds a little bit extra to the kit. I think it makes it look a bit, you know, more than just random stripes, you know, but it's okay. It's still pretty crap, but I do like the blue. Moving on to 17th place now, and I've gone with the Hull kit. Now, if you do want to know a bit more about the inspiration behind this kit and everything really to do with this kit, I made a short. I think it should be up here somewhere, and it just goes in like what this kit's inspiration's from and some other stuff like that. But to sum it up, it's basically inspired by a random season and its stripes, because why not? They've gone with their older badge, which is a bit crap. I do really like their current badge, so not using it even, it's a bit weird in my opinion, but it's not that bad. It looks a bit out of place. The one takeaway from this kit I do quite like is the collar and the cuffs. I think they are quite nice, but it's just, again, there's not enough going on. They're trying to make an anniversary kit for a random season, you know. Moving on to 17th place now, and I've gone with the Brighton home kit. Again, you know, I really like Brighton's kits. I think they don't differ that much. I think that's quite nice. You know, they always just have some nice standard stripes. This season, for their 120th anniversary, they've gone for some pinstripes. They're not quite pinstripes. They're these kind of weird, kind of broken up pinstripes, and I just don't really like that. I know these kits, and I know Brighton used to wear pinstripes, blue with pinstripes, but just stick to it. I think you could have done something nice with an anniversary. Obviously, they did make an anniversary kit, which is nice. But this is just, it's not cool. Moving on to 16th place after that. Now I've gone with the Aston Villa home kit. And I think within this first release, I actually really liked it. It's inspired by some 60s kit, which I think is very different. Usually teams like to go for kind of 2000s and lots of 90s inspiration. So going back to the 60s is really cool in my opinion. But the one takeaway from this kit I'm getting is it looks like a training kit. You know, I think of training kits as plain, just simple two kind of colour kits, monochrome badges, and this is all it's got. If it had a round neck collar, I'd be convinced that this was, you know, a training kit. I think if this kit, you know, was a little bit more Aston Villa, you know, like the sleeves obviously coming back, maybe a full colour badge as well, it would have looked a bit better, but I just don't really like it. It's a bit plain, there's no pattern in the base, but the overall vibe of it, I don't mind it that much. I think it's quite cool. Transitioning on from the bad kits into the kind of mediocre, boring kits. In 15th place, I've gone with the Fulham home kit. I think this template that they've used is really nice. I know Belgium used it in the World Cup, but it's probably the best Belgian kit in my opinion. And to be fair, I do like the colours that they've used there. Obviously the white base, classic, with the black. And I also really like that bit of red. It definitely adds a bit more compared to last season, which is even more basic. The pattern in the base is just kind of weird V. I think it's inspired by the river that the stadium's next to. But again, it's just too boring. The sponsor isn't brilliant either. It's not too bad, but again, it's just too plain in my opinion. You know, there's not enough to talk about this kit. Moving on to 14th now, and I've gone with the Nottingham Forest home kit. I quite like the inspiration of this kit. It's a bit weird, but they've gone with the mist over the River Trent, which is quite cool. Obviously, again, similar to Fulham, they are on next to the river. Their stadium's next to it. I think it's called the Riverside, or the Fulham one is. The kit itself, I don't think it's brilliant. You know, they've gone for this mist inspiration, and you can kind of see it. It's kind of got this weird kind of this abstract kind of pattern, but you can kind of see where it's connected there. Everything else is a bit plain, only kind of white stripes. There's no like white collar or sleeves, which is a bit boring. And then the sponsor hasn't been revealed yet either, so overall it kind of looks like a training kit similar to the Bournemouth one, but it's not that bad though. It's a bit boring, but it's not too bad. 13th place now, and I've gone with the Tottenham kit. Again, this is another one which is just too plain. I don't mind this kit though. I think it's quite nice. Apparently it's inspired by their mid-80s kits, you know, when they had Hummel, which was some of their best kits in their history in my opinion. You can kind of see it in this weird kind of diagonal pattern in the base. I quite like it. It's the same pattern used in their away kit, but we'll do that kit in the away kit rankings. I do like this template, like I said in my championship video. You know, it's a really nice template that's been used at the World Cup. And you can see there's got some navy panels down the side. Also a bit of navy in the sleeve cuffs as well, which is also nice. And the collar isn't brilliant, but it's not too bad. 12th place up next now, and I've gone with the Everton kit. I think it's alright. It's a pretty standard Everton kit. I do like when they add a bit of yellow in their kits. I had the one a couple seasons ago. I think James Rodriguez wore it and stuff, but she was really nice. But this, I don't mind it. Castor, it's alright. Sponsor's a bit weird. I think it's a sponsor from the stadium though. Classic blue, nice bits of yellow. No inspiration behind it, but it's okay. 11th place up, next, and I've gone with the Arsenal kit. This is definitely a pretty bad Arsenal kit, especially compared to some of their most recent ones, which have been really nice. This is a bit lacking. Obviously, everyone's seen this kit a million times by now. It's obviously got the dark red added onto it, which they didn't have last season or previous seasons. But they've got these lightning bolt pattern in the collar and cuffs, which I think is a bit naff. I don't really like when there's patterns in the collar and cuffs. The only takeaway that I do quite like about this kit is it reminds me of the 09-010 kit. It's one of my favourite Arsenal kits ever. I'm a big fan of it. I like the kind of sleeve things with the darker red. It just reminds me of that. But apart from that, it's just a bit too plain and I'm not sure about the patterning. If you are enjoying this video so far, please remember to like and subscribe. Last video is so popular on my channel. It's only been out for a couple of days now and it's already my second most viewed video ever. Just pause for a second, go down there, like and subscribe. And let's get back to the video. Moving into the second half, or the top 10, whatever way you want to put it, I've gone with the Everton kit, and I think it's a really nice kit, you know, especially compared to the last time that they were in the Premier League. It was a bit more basic. Last season's kit was also quite nice, but this is really nice. They've gone with this nice blue base and a nice bit of navy, but the pattern in the base is very nice. It is inspired by the Sir Bobby Robson and Alf Ramsey kind of architectural structures from it, which I really like. A really nice pattern, kind of just a standard pattern, works really nicely. Nice sponsor as well, big upgrade from that Ed Sheeran one. I think it works nicely. 9th place now, and I'm going with the Man United home kit. I think this is a very nice kit, very classy, just simple kit, and we definitely saw it look nice when they played it in one of their last games of the season. I think it looked really nice. This kit is inspired by some of their 70s kits, which were made by Admiral, and I think you can kind of see the inspiration. Obviously, kits back then, made by Admiral, they had these kind of stripes in the collar. And you can see they did this kind of modern version of it with a bit of black in there to tie it into the Man United-ness, if you want to say. Polo collar as well looks very nice. And again, there's no pattern in the base, but I do quite like it. I like Admiral kits as well. I'm a big fan of them. So let's move on to 8th. 8th place up next now, and I got with Manchester City. And I think when this kit was originally released or originally leaked, I actually really liked it. But it's not as good as I originally thought it was. I do like the inspiration, though. They've taken the actual sky from the name Sky Blue. They've used it as the inspiration. You can see that that classic Manchester City blue is gradienting into a white, which is a very soft gradient. And it kind of had this kind of cloud vibe you can see with the blue and the white. Kind of looks like the sky. I like the monochrome badge. Everything about this kit is simple, clean. I like it. Moving on after this now, I'm going with the Liverpool home kit. So 3 big teams in a row now. I think this is a really nice kit. You know, I think it's had a bit of backlash because the shorts didn't match up or something, which is a bit weird, but anyway, I like the kit. It's inspired by the 89-90 kit, which is one of their most famous home kits ever. You know, obviously famous for the, you know, Ian Rush and the candy sponsor. I like this, you know. I think it's very out there for clubs to do these kind of weird patterns that are quite obvious. They like to kind of incorporate it into the base a bit more, but I do quite like this. I like this more kind of darker red that they've gone for. Recently, they've gone for a bit more standard red, but I like this. Simple, clean. I like it, though. Moving on after that now, I've got the Leeds home kit, and this is a brilliant, brilliant kit in my opinion. I think, you know, this is one of my favourite kits. You can tell how well these upcoming kits in the top 5 are, but I think this is really nice. They've gone from a nice white base, obviously, but the stripes are inspired by the 05-06 season, which obviously had these kind of vertical stripes going upwards, and they just flipped them basically to make them horizontal. I think it looks a lot nice, a lot better even. The blue obviously looks really nice, but that yellow just pops through brilliantly in my opinion. I also like it in the cuffs and sleeves as well. I think it looks really nice. Moving into the top 5 now, in 5th place, I've gone with the Sunderland home kit. It's one of the most recent ones to be released, and it is inspired by the 1937 FA Cup win, which, you know, it's a pretty nice kit. It's obviously 5th place. They've gone for some nice standard stripes, which I do like. I think just clean, keep it simple. Nice polo colour. I like that kind of split in the polo colour, adding that bit of red. And as you can see, the badge is a different shape. It's actually taken from the badge from their FA Cup win. It's also on the back of the kit as well, which is nice. Simple. I think there's a slight pattern in the base. I think it's like a repeating S pattern. But it's simple, but it works well. That's kind of what they've done right here. I'm not sure about the badge, though. I think it looks a bit weird, the Sunderland badge being inside of it. It looks a bit small for it, but I like it. 4th place up next now, I've gone with the Coventry City home kit, and it's kind of FA Cup win to FA Cup win, but the only difference is it's 50 years later, and this kit has got a lot of backlash for it not being sky blue, but if you look at the kit that this is inspired by, you can tell that kit's not sky blue either. It's the same kind of like light blue and white stripes, and that's why I'm a big fan of this kit. To be fair, the Mondo sponsor isn't brilliant, but let's just try and ignore it because it's not that bad. I like the pattern in the base. It's kind of inspired by like the fans celebrating apparently. I like the bit of black as well, and I also like that addition of that kind of light, kind of amber colour. Overall, big fan of this kit. I think it looks really clean, really nice. 3rd place up next now, I'm going with the Crystal Palace home kit. They've inspired by their 70s kit, which is the kind of home kits that they used to wear. They used to wear white with a sash going across, which I think it looks really nice. And they've definitely taken a modern twist on it. You know, you can see these kind of the sashes and the stripes on the sleeves kind of broken up into smaller stripes, which look really nice. Temporal response isn't brilliant, but it doesn't. You can't really see it. You know, it doesn't stand out as much because of that sash. No pattern in the base. Nice old badge as well. And I think this is a really clean but well done kit. You know. 2nd place up next now, and I've gone with the Brentford home kit. I think this is one of their best kits that they've ever made. Apparently, it's the first time they've ever used yellow, which is weird because obviously they have yellow in the badge, but apparently they call it the honey yellow, adding to it, which I think is really nice. Nice standard stripes, but they've obviously added that yellow. Nice black kind of badges in the collar and cuffs. They kind of split it halfway, which is really clean, simple, and I think it's very well done. And they've also put it down the sleeves as well, which looks very nice. Obviously, that means in 1st place, drumroll please, Chelsea. Now, before you hate me or anything, I want to try and explain why I really like this kit. For starters, I think it's a brilliant blue that they've gone for. In the last couple of seasons, they've really kind of mixed it up with their blue, which isn't a bad thing. This is just a nice standard kind of Chelsea blue. Again, similar to the Birmingham kit that I did in my championship video, I'm a big fan of this template, and I think the way that they've utilised it is brilliant in my opinion. You know, they've used that collar as well, which is the best version of it, and obviously putting the yellow down the stripes, down the side. And I just love Chelsea when they put yellow in their kits. I think it looks so much nicer. And obviously the yellow night tick, and obviously they've gone with that nice yellow line as well. But the kind of big thing about this kit is the base of the kit. As you can't really see it, you'll probably be able to see it in other pictures, but it's got a massive Chelsea line in the base, and it's a bit tacky, but I do quite like it. It really reminds me of some of the 90s Umbro kits. I don't know if it's inspired by those or not, and I think Chelsea actually had one of these, where they put the club's badge in the base of the kit. And I think, you know, even those kits were a bit crap, I do like it, and I think it really kind of reminds me of those kits, which I'm a big fan of. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Like I already said, remember to like and subscribe if you did enjoy this video. Let's hopefully we can get it as popular as that video, because let's hope so we can grow to 200 subscribers by the end of August. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.